Hi everyone, my name is Patrick and
My name is Jeremy.
yeah, so we're going to be talking to you about admissions. So basically they're the required classes you have to take in high school to get into, to qualify for a CSU or UC or a private college. The first one you mentioned was 4 years of English, that's correct. Someone said 2.5 years, but yeah, it's just 2 years of history. Like 1 year I think it's like there's half government and the other half is econ. Yeah. And then usually it's U.S. history or world history. So then someone also said 2 years of a foreign language. And then 3 years recommended. Yeah. And then someone said a math requirement.
3 recommended, 4.
Yeah, so it's 3 required and then 4 recommended. Or the sciences. How many do you need of those?
2.
2 years. Yeah, so you need 2 years of laboratory science and then 3 years recommended. There's 2 more. What are F and G?
Fine arts.
Yeah, fine art, visual performing arts. And what was G? The last
That's
one.
the elective.
Yeah, so they're basically college prep electives for the last one. So definitely one of the reasons for the recommended number is to show you're competitive, that you're not just taking the bare minimum requirement. It's showing that you're challenging yourself and trying to better yourself in different areas of study. And also with the recommended years, it's definitely, it should all say 3 recommended, but if you can take 4, that'd be great. And you know, if they're going to a specific major, like say they want to be a bio major, it'd probably be recommended they take 4 years of sciences, so it shows they're trying to better prepare themselves for their area of choice when they get into college. So that's also why there's recommended. For the language, it says 2 years, but what's important about those 2 years?
It has to be the same.
Consecutive. Yeah, so it definitely has to be the same language. So you can't have a year of French, a year of Spanish. So it has to be 2 years of the same language. Something you want to point out about the visual performing arts to make sure to check in with the counselor what qualifies for visual performing arts, just because sometimes it might change from year to year. I know in my last thing, college prep classes. So what do you think you would tell students about college prep classes or electives? Yeah. Well, basically, it's everything that you know, doesn't necessarily like fulfill a requirement, but also college prep doesn't include like stuff like PE or like sports. But if they have any honors or AP classes, definitely recommend those to them. Just because, like you said earlier, with the recommended classes, it shows they're more competitive. But if they take those for their college prep classes, that'll show they're taking more initiative. So that's something that they want to keep in mind. And also, you can tell them the perks about taking honors and AP classes. So with the AP classes, it adds an extra GPA point. And then that's also, some students like don't even know how people can get above a 4.0 sometimes, and that's something you can tell them. It helps them look more competitive. It's preparing them for the UC system more like specifically, but it looks good overall for college applications.
It depends from school to school, but sometimes, like, if you're in AVID, your freshman and sophomore year, it doesn't count as a college prep elective until you're a junior or high. Make sure that they talk to their counselors, because sometimes it won't count if they only get it their freshman year.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, that'll go more into the actual, the overall process, because if they're in programs like that that show that they're trying to best track themselves for college, then that's great that they're taking advantage of those resources. But there's some students that are in AVID and some students that aren't, and then how sometimes there's a lot of attention given to students in AVID, and students that aren't, they're sometimes not considered to be on the college track. But if they are in that program, then that's great because it's showing they're trying to utilize their resources at their school. Just let them know that if they were to take like community college classes like for the summer, and just make sure it actually transfers over to their school. This is just to keep that in mind, just to check in with the counselors at both the community college and their high school. For these classes that they're taking, if for some reason say they don't do so well in the class, it's recommended that they retake it just to show that they're trying to improve themselves in the area that they might have been weak in, and try to get stronger at that, just to show that they're trying to personally grow themselves. That's basically a breakdown of what you would basically talk about through A through G requirements. You don't want to spend like a huge chunk of time in the outreach, just because usually outreaches are 15 minutes to an hour, and it's pretty self-explanatory. But like those little things that I talked about, like with the recommended years, reasons why it's recommended, the foreign language clarification.